Yo, what's going on, guys? Gonna run through a quick trade recap from today. Took one trade on AMD, so I kind of want to run through a little bit of the higher time frame stuff, some of the key levels, some of the low time frames too, obviously just executions, whatnot, kind of the scaling a little bit, and then some of the game plan stuff as well. So coming to today, fairly neutral on SPY and Qs. We gapped down pretty heavily over the weekend, so I wanted to see kind of a reclaim of one of the levels or a breakdown of one of the key levels on SPY or QQQ. I'm mostly a long side trader. I'll probably bias or I'll be more on the long side of things. I'll have mostly a long bias if I can try alongside the key levels and everything. So if we can get some shorts, I might stay out, but I really like long side trades, just kind of my personality. So a few of the top watches were Intel. For longs, AMD above previous day's lows, so if we can reclaim that range. So I'll talk a little bit about that and like why I like this trade setup. And then yeah, typically I always wait first 5-10 minutes to take a trade. I usually want to see some sort of structure set up first before I decide which direction that I want to trade in. Also get a good idea what SPY and Qs are doing before you want to jump to conclusions and take trades right off the bat. So we'll go through some of those as well, and I know there's some other decent trades to do, other trades today as well. So we did have two decent setups on MU right off the bat. I know a lot of you guys probably took that with Jack today, and then a little bit later into the session we had a nice displacement or a retest with some displacement as well. So just scrolling through some of the ideas. Took AMD actually, but I wanted to take Intel. That was kind of the main idea. There was a key level, so we'll run through a little bit of that. Just wanted to give a little quick idea of the trade, so kind of walking through here. Honestly, got a nice move out of this. Wasn't the biggest size trade, and honestly, wasn't one of the best trades. So we're gonna kind of talk about it a little bit. Higher time frames, real quick to kind of run through. So I have a few key levels to kind of note. Now, when we zoom out, you want to have context for, obviously, your daily, your 4-hour levels too. Just have an idea. I like marking them specifically on the 15-minute, so we'll jump down to the 15-minute. But essentially, it is these highs and lows right here. Very key inflection point. You see pretty good bounces off it, and when we break down, we see pretty big moves. That's the whole idea here. Now, when we jump down to the 15-minute, we scroll over, it's simply just mostly lows, also some rejections over here, rejections in this session. I really like this level right now. If we can reclaim that, we should have a pretty easy time to move higher. Now, we did see some closures on the 15-minute above. Yesterday we didn't really get that. But today we did see decent closures. We just didn't get the trade that we wanted. Could potentially be the previous day high resistance. Could just be a sell-off from SPY and Qs. We don't really know what happened, but ideally we would push back up into this high over here, which is one of the other kind of old highs. So as we opened up, so we'll jump to the 1 minute. I know there was a trade here too from Tony. I think Tony took one of these setups. So there's actually a few trades. 2 trade ideas that I really like. So a lot of you guys probably right off the bat had the one candle set up right here. I guess it should just be just like this. So your second candle was technically the first down closed candle in this trend. Then you had 2, nice push up, made high of day, push back down into that key level. This one, it would have been really ideal if we did get an entry closer to here. That would have been amazing. Typically this was like literally 5 minutes for the retest into market open. A little bit more patient here. Just had the one set up. Push back up into high of day, so technically speaking, this trade did work out. Like, if you want to talk about objectively for a break and retest, the trade was fine. You got the push into high of day. The risk reward just might not have been there for the entry. So if you were wondering about that trade, just my thoughts, it was solid. So a lot of the other times it would have just pushed higher, right? But just one of those times where it just hit high of day and reversed. So But we still do have this level. And now we have 2 areas of rejection, or 2 key points right here, which we can take a look at for sellers. So I guess I can mark this red now and just kind of go, okay, sellers are right here. Wait for something to happen. At this point, I'm not really looking at AMD after it broke structure right here. But later into the session, we did push back up into it. So I was looking at actually Intel a little bit at this point, and I wanted to see this trade. I want to see the retest here. I think you could have had a few things. You could have had maybe this whole candle here, this first red candle, but after you had some more pushes in the high of day, I probably would just have this key level, which was your 49.33. Essentially just a pivot from Thursday last week. That'd be a good pivot to get over. Looks like clearly there's some reaction there too, which is nice. So when the low time frames and high time frames line up, it's good. And then we finally got the breakout with some displacement. Maybe enter in around 1025. Didn't get like a clear entry signal, but just kind of an idea there. I really like this one a lot better if we could have had the retest, but didn't end up getting it. So, but for AMD, let's talk about AMD, because after it did push back up in high of day, keeping an eye on it, we did have an immediate retest. So we saw the trend kind of reverse here. So we had high of day, break back down, saw some buyers, break back down, and this was kind of the break of structure right here. Low time frame wise anyways. Push back, break above, quick retest. This is an immediate retest. So some people would argue it's a breakout, some people would argue it's a retest. I think when you have 2 candles here, a down close into the level, and a pretty solid candle close above, I did really like this setup in terms of like immediate retests. So thing is, there's some bad things that I don't really love about this trade setup too. So this isn't exactly a very clear entry when you have these like immediate retests. I don't really like them because a lot of the times the candlestick formation doesn't give you a chance to have a high of day to take profit at. What I mean by that is, let's say you entered this trade, AMD trade around here, you have a resistance target from this candle to take a trade into. But when you take these immediate retests, you're kind of buying high of day most of the times, which is okay. It's not a bad thing, but ideally you want to be buying pullbacks on longs, right? Or on you know, upward trends, right? Bullish trends. So when this pulled back, obviously I'm not entering on kind of the first immediate retest candle. I was a little bit patient. But once this candle closed, we did see a pullback into the gap, which is nice. It's not really what we're trading, but it's just, you know, something to note as well. This green candle here, 957. Then when it closed very solid. So we didn't have a red candle closure like this. We didn't have the green candle just slightly close above it, right? It was a pretty strong candle, so I thought there's decent risk to reward into your key level here, into the next key level. So not the greatest, right? Like 1.5 hour into the higher time frame target. Not the greatest. Wasn't gonna really size into this trade. Yeah, the P&L wasn't obviously like the biggest for me, right? It's just I thought I'd take a stab at this. I do want to be taking a little bit more trades this year, or at least like into the start of the year. Been a little bit conservative with the trades last month and even November. So I've been trying to take a little bit more setups, put on a little bit more risk, just sizing differently for the trade. So this is pretty decent. I actually took the first scale into 1001. I think at 20 contracts. That was the 15 off here. I think I took another 3 off into the key level. I believe that I'll post executions for you guys, but kind of same idea here. Took some off into the first 1001. That was a big pop, so took off 75%. And then, yeah, at the key level, took off 2. And then the last couple ones, I scaled out 1 at the key level, at the top of the key level, and then 1 into the, which I believe was the 15th. So the 15th high is Thursday. So that was the main idea there. Pretty solid trade overall. Could have worked on the scaling a little bit better, but I do want to mention, when you look at this trade in hindsight, you can see, oh, the trade worked out perfectly. You got 5R. Yeah, of course, because we were looking at it in hindsight. In real time, if we go and look at the setup, Let's just replay it. Why is it not letting me? Okay. So at this point, this was the trade idea, right? There's nothing really too special about this. The setup looks pretty clear. Like, it looks pretty decent. It is an immediate retest. There's not like a super obvious trend going on. We do have the key level here though, so it's, or I guess like a order block, 1 minute order block. But this is not a trade that I would put a ton of size into, right? I'm kind of trading into resistance, but I'm just hoping for that pop into it. So yes, I got a 5R, but I'm not putting in a ton of size. I'm scaling out early. If you see the trade run and you're like, oh, I should have held on to more of it, well, go back and look at the entry. Go see if it makes sense. Should you have really sized into the trade? Should you have really held on to it for that long? Analyze your executions too, right? Because in real time, it's a different story than hindsight. So that was kind of a little bit of the trade from today. Don't really have too much else to go over. Hopefully you guys had a good trading day. If you guys are not booked in for the coaching, feel free to book in for that as well. Check out the last video if you guys haven't yet. Super good video. I just kind of rambled for a little bit, but honestly, some golden nuggets in there. I highly recommend you watch this one, especially if you guys are on smaller account size. So aside from that, I will catch you guys tomorrow for pre-market, and I will see you guys then. All right.